Mike, as mentioned previously, Ben has played with limited or no practice reps in the past. What can you learn from those experiences that could potentially help you this week as you prepare for the Bengals?
I'm not overly concerned about it. This guy's been doing this job for 17 years. He's got snap experience that he can call upon. We're still going to work extremely hard virtually to prepare. A lot of his work is above the neck anyway in terms of preparation. I have very little concern about it, to be quite honest with you.
Mike Tomlin, Steelers coach, regarding the fact that Ben Roethlisberger is on the COVID-19 reserve list. We mentioned that briefly in the first segment, sitting next to Vance McDonald on the flight home from Dallas. Close enough contact to get Roethlisberger excluded from the facility and in isolation for 5 days, even if he never tests positive, even if he never has a single symptom, even if he's perfectly fine. He is away from the team, just like Matthew Stafford was for the Lions last week. So now you have to get ready without practice. Yeah. It's unclear how much he would have practiced anyway. That's with injury to his knees. Yeah. Not one knee, both knees. So, they got to get him ready without practice and get him practice on Wednesdays anyway. Every single week he didn't practice because of Veteran Rest Day. So he's practicing Thursdays and Fridays. And Tomlin's right. At this point, how much practice does he really need?
No, right.
Here's a question Shereen Williams raised yesterday that I need to explore with the Steelers. How does his treatment for his knees work if he's in isolation
That's
for
a good
5
one.
days?
That's a good one. I wonder how that does work. Now, some of the stuff he's doing, like the machines, things like that, I know I've gone through it before. They probably could bring those to his house. Maybe his wife goes to the facility and gets a few of the, big leg sleeves that push this really cold water in there, and then it moves around with pressure to push the swelling out and everything like that. And then I think they'd probably have to end up doing Zoom exercises. I guess that would be how I would think it has to go down, something like that. They can manage it. They could pull it off. And, Mike Tomlin, like you said, he's right. I mean, Big Ben, at this point of his career, it is just about getting the mechanics of, okay, we're running this. Oh, I got to check to this when they play that defense, all of it. Yeah, you want to practice. But, man, if there's a handful of guys in football that can get away with no practice, he would be on that short list of guys, certainly, to where I wouldn't worry too much. This guy has been able to deal with these type of things his whole career. I mean, we talk about it all the time, how beat up he played in the prime of his career, and he had a lot of weeks back then where he couldn't practice and do things. But the big thing is, and to what you said, Bengals are scary. They are scary. And I think they match up somewhat well with Pittsburgh, who we saw didn't play their best football. I want to see how they bounce back this week. But with that pass defense, Joe Burrow's ability to get the ball out of his hands quickly, Pittsburgh's pass defense is good. I'm not trying to say that, but they're not a man-to-man lock-you-down type team. And Joe Burrow's ability to read defenses and get the ball out, and they call a lot of short, quick passes, and they're talented at receiver, I could see them hanging in there and making this game very interesting. I wouldn't be shocked by that at all.
I mean, really, even though the Steelers are 8-0 for the first time in franchise history, they've only played their best football once this year against the Browns, where they were complete on both sides of the ball.
Right.
Every other game was flawed in some way. At least one of the games they should have lost. That was the Ravens game. There are other games where, they're just living too close to the edge here, and it feels like at some point they're going to get that one L to go with however many wins they pile up. Mike Tomlin also said that the Steelers followed the NFL's policy in letting Vance McDonald play. You alluded to this last segment. Apparently he wasn't feeling well on Friday, but he still tested negative, so he was allowed to stay with the team. Look, I thought that they had a rule that if you don't feel well, they send you home, no questions asked. That's what happened to Odell Beckham Jr. A couple of weeks ago. And see, this is when the doctors maybe are making decisions, the doctors who are hired and paid by the team, and the doctors don't want to take players out of the mix unless they have to.
Yeah.
And no, he's negative. He doesn't have it. He's fine. Yeah, he's not feeling well, but, it's cold and flu season. He's got some other bug. I thought the NFL was taking the position that if you don't feel well, we're sending you home, and we'll keep testing you, and if you still are negative, then you can come back. But, again, Tomlin says they followed the policy, and maybe they did. Maybe the policy needs to be tweaked a little bit more.
Yes, it is.
Because clearly in this case, unless it's just a coincidence, and if it is, it's one hell of a coincidence, that he had the cold or the flu and it was chased by COVID, and he wasn't feeling ill on Friday for any reasons relating to his eventual positive, but something's not right here. There's a donut hole. There's multiple donut holes in this process, and that feels like one.
Well, it definitely does. I mean, to me, yeah, the protocol has to be changed there. I mean, we're seeing this too much. I mean, throughout the country, forget about sports, whatever it is. I don't feel good. And then, yeah, like we talked about earlier, the positive test doesn't come for a few days. For whatever reason, the virus takes a few days, 48 hours, whatever it is, to ruminate in the body and come out of the positive test that way. So, I mean, I would think at some point here, because of this specifically, that, okay, you don't feel well, we send you home, and yeah, we test you every day, but you don't get to come back no matter what until that third day or that fourth day. Doesn't matter. You didn't feel good. We can't take the chance. We don't know. We don't want you sitting on the plane with our two biggest superstars on our team or the starting quarterback or whatever. I would think that would make sense to adjust that part of the policy for sure.
Yeah, even then, if there was any chance that Vance McDonald had it because he wasn't feeling well, I would put him at the back end of the plane, and I would put Ben in the front row and all your other key players as
lock
far
him in
away
the
from
bathroom
Vance McDonald as possible. Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.